Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shadow Parker, Johnny, David, Mike, Jason, Richard, Sven, B-Sad Dog, Karen, welcome. Thank you guys for being here today. Happy Wednesday, happy SoD Eve. Sounds a little bit weird, but it's accurate. How is everyone doing today? We are headed into Desolace today, and yeah, I kind of went the long way. I probably should have taken the boat over to Dark Shore. Then I would have had the flight point for Stone Talon, and I could have made this run a little bit shorter for myself. Instead, I took the boat to Ratchet, which resulted in the run that we're currently doing. We're gonna go work on some Centaur stuff today. And we could chat about Season of Discovery if you guys want. I've narrowed down my class choices a little bit. Mark, Salat, Alex, welcome guys. I'm sounding a little bit better today. Yeah, I feel a little bit better today. If I could clear the rest of the junk out of my lungs, I would probably be 100%. Maybe that'll happen by tomorrow. I don't know. Karen, you're sick? Yeah, I'm sorry. I understand, trust me. It is not a good time to be sick. But yeah, usually when you get sick, it's at the worst possible time. It's not when I wanted to be sick either. I'm lucky enough to be getting over it. Blood Moon, good morning. I'm feeling better. Amy's still kind of in the thick of it. On top of that, she's teaching a class, which is like, it's kind of like high stress. It's a lot of social effort. A lot of like extroversion to facilitate a class all day. And so yeah, she's probably going to be sick for a few more days. Yeah, it's pretty crappy. You know, back in the day when we had to teach classrooms in person, she would not have gone to work. It's like somebody else from her team would have had to step in and facilitate the class. But the joy of working from home is that you get to work when you're incredibly sick. It's a perk of working from home. Is that when you're incredibly sick, you still just get to keep working. It's not a perk. Because yeah, if she walked into a classroom like back in the day, somebody would take one look at her and be like, yeah, you gotta go home. But yeah, when you work at home, you facilitate virtual classes, you just kind of like get through it. You ride your mute key, so every time you have to hack up a lung, you can mute yourself. James, I'm doing well. Am I going to be playing and streaming the next WoW expansion? Are you talking about the retail expansion? Yeah, I'm sure that I will play it. I don't know if I'll stream it. I'll probably do just a recorded series of the campaign, similar to what I did with Dragonflight. My retail streams are not exactly very popular. For good reason. I'm not really good at playing retail, and I'm often not very like positive about retail when I stream it. I'm kind of hoping we don't see the next retail expansion for a long time. Mainly because like I have no plans to want to get into that anytime in the near future, and also because I don't yet have the $90 I have to fork over to play. I think pre-ordering the next WoW expansion is going to be like it's going to have to be my Christmas gift to myself, because it's really the only way I can justify the $90 to get it pre-ordered so I can actually play it when it comes out. Alright, we finally made it. I did stop in Ironforge. Alex, you'll be really proud of me. I stopped in Ironforge and I grabbed the Reclaimer's whatever. Reclaimer's Business in Desolace. So we do have that quest chain available now. This will be the first time I've ever been able to do that quest chain. So I'm pretty excited to see it. Shadow Parker, good morning, hello. Robert speaks, take 2. I am still medicated, and because of that my brain is not working as well as it normally would be. Not that it ever really works well to begin with, but yeah, Dayquil. Good old Dayquil. I get jittery when I take cold medicine. Does anyone else get like jittery? Like I get like physically, almost like neurotically jittery, both physically and like in my brain. It's kind of like a weird... The only thing I could really compare it to is like I used to be on Lexapro, and when you come off of Lexapro you get like what's called the jolts, where like as you're coming off the drug you'll get like these weird jolt sensations going through you, and like there's no physical thing that happens, it all happens kind of in your brain. But that's what Dayquil kind of feels like sometimes to me. I feel like I get kind of like jolty the way that I would when I came off of Lexapro. So I'm doing my best to remain coherent. Johnny, thanks for the super chat, man. $5 towards the 90. I mean, it's a start. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of money to spend on myself. What disease do I have? Lexapro doesn't treat a disease. Lexapro is for anxiety. I guess that could be a disease. It's not something that I'm on anymore. Hence the coming off of it part. Strange Alliances. This is the Centaur quest. Okay. And oh no, which one of these is the Centaur quest? Oh, they are both the Centaur quest. Gain friendly. I don't get it. Is it the 2 different clans? Is that what it is? There's 2 quests, 1 for each clan. Okay, that's probably what it is. And Centaur Bounty is 15 Centaur ears. James, nothing right now. Hence the coming off it part.
Be good.
Not for a long time. I found that like treating anxiety with drugs causes like other problems. So it's like you remove one problem and then you have a host of other problems that you didn't have before.
Off with you.
And that really wasn't my thing. What is this? I'll take it and we'll have a look at it. I'm not familiar with that one. The big question is like, do I want to set my Hearthstone here? I don't really want to, because I'd like to have an easy way to get back to the other continent. so maybe I'll leave it for now. Inventory wise, let's get rid of a bunch of stuff. I meant to go to the bank at Ratchet and drop some of my crafting mats, but obviously like I didn't do that. I'm giving up on the Green Hills of Stranglethorn because I need the bag space. I'm just gonna sell as much as I can. Yeah, that's really all I can do. And you know what? I can mail the silk off to the bank alt. That's not a bad idea. We're going to be grinding on Centaur for a while, so... yeah. Let's have some inventory space. I'm going to fire all this stuff off. The heavy stone and the bronze I'll keep in case of like an emergency. Oh, I can't get it out once I put it into the mailbox. Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Blood Moon, thank you so much for the $19. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's very generous of you. Alex, you would ditch the Brutal Politics quest? Why is that? Is that because we're going to be killing those guys? Are the Magrum the guys that we're going to grind on this time? Okay. So yeah, we're going to kill the Magrum. I'm not sure, are the Magrum, let's see, the Magrum are over here, right?
What can I do for you?
I'll grab this now. On the Hunter, I could probably do it. On the Hunter, we could probably do it now. But I won't. It won't round up to $20. That's okay. It's a YouTube thing. That's funny. And then this guy has Valhalariel's Research.
Hello.
Oh, this is the wagon quest. Okay, we can run over here and at least do the first part of it. I'm not sure about any of the follow-ups. Daniel, good morning. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I realized yesterday after the stream that Thursday my son has an early release from school. It's early release day, which means that I will actually be able to get on at 4 o'clock with everybody else. I should be on sometime around 3:45, and then like as we get closer, we can just keep trying to ping the server over and over and over again. Maybe we'll even get a server listing early. I'm hoping that we'll be able to go into the season tab, and that we'll be able to see the names of the servers and their time zones before they actually come online. I'm pretty sure we were able to do that with the hardcore servers. Like they were listed in the tab before they came online that night. So that should give us like at least a few minutes to decide like what server we want to go on. Yeah, I get to stream the release of it, yeah. It turns out that my son has an early release on Thursday. Like he does every Thursday, and like I completely forgot. That's how sick I've been. It just like completely slipped my mind that Thursday is the day that they let him out an hour early. So yeah. And there's that. Yeah, I can get on. I can get my names. I can create my roster of the characters that I would like to play. This just has us go back. I'm not going to go back right now. I think I'm going to head right down here and start working on that. Bone Collector I'm not going to do right now. Kodo Roundup I might do, but we're gonna fight Centaur first. David, it's actually, the stupid thing is, this is how dumb I was, is it's every Thursday. Every Thursday for all of time, it's been early release. And yeah, it just slipped my mind. I haven't been thinking very clearly. Which is bad because like normally I don't think that well anyway. So then you add like sickness and some other things and then like my brain barely functions at all. James, have I completed all WoW quests? I mean, I've completed a lot of effing quests. Have I completed every single quest that's ever been put into the game? No, absolutely not. The game is massive. I've been playing for 20 years and I doubt I've completed every single quest. I would say I've probably completed like 85 to 90% of the quest in the game. Especially if we're talking about Classic era. It was nice of them to do the release on Thursday. Yeah, had they done the release on Tuesday, then it would have been a different story. Johnny, we'll see you later, man. Take care out there. Alex, you don't think we'll get the names of the servers before they go live? I understand they didn't post them really, but typically the same thing happened with the hardcore servers. Is that you'll be able to log into the client, and you'll be able to go to the tab, and you'll be able to see the servers there. I can almost guarantee that we'll be able to go to the seasonal tab and look at the servers before they come up. I would be willing to bet on it. Because otherwise they're gonna have to patch them in at the last minute. If they're not there, you know, leading up to the release, if they're not, then they're gonna have to push out a patch to get them into the client. So they're either already in the client, or there's no way that they're gonna go live at 4 o'clock. If they're gonna try to wait till 4 o'clock to actually patch them into the game, that's not gonna work. They're gonna have already been patched in, and they're just gonna be showing up as offline. Like as we approach the time where we can get, you know, where you can kind of log in, but all the servers are showing as offline. It's usually like the last little bit before like maintenance ends and they come back up. Almost guaranteed. Like there's no way. I don't believe it. And so what's their rationale? I'm not going to read the article. What's their rationale for not letting us see the names? I don't really understand it. Because you'd think like the opposite would be true. You'd think they'd have every reason to let us see the names. The reason for not letting us see the names, not wanting communities to be able to plan how they're going to play together. That's a good reason to not let us see the names. Not allowing anybody to make any plans at all. Another good reason to not let us see the names. It's a surprise. It's a fucking surprise. That makes, yeah, no sense. It's not a surprise, you know, we already know what types of servers there are going to be. We just don't know the names, which makes no sense at all. I'm sure they have their reasons. But I'm just saying, like, any reason they come up with, I'm going to call bullshit on. All it does when you don't release the names, you stop communities from figuring out where they're going to play ahead of time. Like, all the communities, we're all going to figure it out anyway. Like all the streamers are going to go to all the streamers are going to go to either the East Coast or West Coast PvP server, probably the East Coast. Like when you're talking, and I don't know who they are, but you guys know who they are. You guys know who all the big WoW streamers are. Like all of those people, they're going to go to the East Coast US PvE server. That's PvP server. That's where they're going to end up. That's what they always do. Like look at Fairlina. And that's what's going to happen. So what's the point of not telling us the names? 7 people are going to go to the RP PvP server. So those 7 people already know where they're going because there's only one of them. What's the point? They don't want people to plan out what server to be on because but that doesn't make sense. We already know the 4 server types. We already know the fucking servers. Like, do you guys see how that doesn't make sense? There's going to be a West Coast PvP server. There's going to be an East Coast PvP server. There's going to be one PvE server. And there's going to be an RPP. There's 4 servers. We already know what they are. Who cares what the names are? Unless they're going to change the number of servers, I don't see how it matters. People already know. You know, you already know if you're going on the PvP servers, you already know that. And you already know you're going to have to choose between West Coast and East Coast. So how does it make any sense to keep the names? Who cares about the names? There are 4 servers, 2 PvP, 1 PvE, 1 RP PvP. What else is there to know? Do you guys see what I'm saying? Or am I just fucking crazy? Asmongold is going... Yes, exactly, Mike. Asmongold is going to go on the East Coast PvP server. And everyone else will too. Every other streamer will do the exact same thing. That's what they always do. So the only way it's a surprise is if they never were able to data mine any information about how many servers or what types they were. But then it still doesn't matter, because unless you're going to have 2 or 3 PvP East Coast servers, if there's only going to be 1, that's where everybody's going to go. We don't need a name of the server or to be able to see it ahead of time to determine that. People can decide that without ever seeing the server list, and they have, and they will. So, like, I don't get it. You see how it's just kind of stupid? It doesn't make any sense? They're trying to solve a problem that A, isn't a problem. And B, the thing they did to try to solve the problem, it doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. So I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not crazy, thank God. Like, because yeah, if you think that's a valid like reason for not giving up the names, like it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't care. Like, so I don't know. Like, I'm conflicted. I don't really like. Ideally, I would probably go on the PvE server. There's going to be 1 PvE server. It's going to be an East Coast server, and maybe they'll shock us and it'll be a central server right in the middle. But it's probably going to be East Coast PvE, and that's probably where I'll go. I mean, cause like I don't know. I've never played on a PvP server. I don't understand the attraction of it, and I really don't even know how the PvP server rules work. And so, for my understanding, if you're on a PvP server, there are only certain zones where you are always flagged. And those are contested zones. And contested zones would be like Ashenvale Forest, Hillsbrad Foothills, Stranglethorn Vale. Am I right in thinking that, or is that not how PvP servers work? Like, when I'm in Elwyn Forest, and I don't flag myself, and I'm questing, like, nobody's going to be able to walk up to me from the other faction and PvP me, because I'm not in a contested zone and I haven't flagged myself. Is that right? In the contested zones, you're flagged. But everywhere else, you're not. And so, like, so the allure is that you could be out questing and then you could get ganked by 5 people on the opposite faction. Or the allure is you can go gank somebody on the opposite faction in a group of 5. It's just like, I wish I could get into the idea of it. Because, yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I can. I just don't see the purpose of it. What's the reward for open world PvP? So, like, if I kill a guy in the open world who tried to gank me, like, what do I get out of that? I'm temporarily inconvenienced. You know, that guy's probably going to try to hunt me down. He's probably going to bring some friends now. Like, is it just, like, it's a more dynamic experience for people? Is that the allure of it? And some of you guys play on PvP servers, so, like, what are your intrinsic motivations when you go to play on a PvP server? That's what I need to understand that I currently don't. Honor points and bragging rights? Who the fuck cares about bragging rights? Am I 12 years old? Bragging rights for ganking somebody in a video game? Is that a real thing? For, like, adult human beings? Like, if it's a fair fight, I guess, then it's fine. Like, if you duel somebody, it's a fair fight. I sold all my effing meat. What are we gonna kill for meat around here? You think these thunder lizards, do you think they have any meat? Because we need some meat. We gotta get meat now. Or we could fish. We could probably fish in one of the muck holes. I'm sure there's a muck hole around here somewhere we could fish in. Sweaty and WoW nerds. Yeah, no, because I know some of you guys play. Johnny could explain it. Yeah, he's not here. I'll ask him later. If it's a fair fight, then I understand. Like, that's cool. That's bragging rights, I guess. Is it ever really a fair fight? No, I don't think so. Like, if I'm a level 25 rogue and I encounter somebody on the opposite faction who's level 25, I'm probably not gonna fight them. I don't want to die. I don't want to get inconvenienced. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm never gonna get it. Yeah. And then the server's probably going to be one-sided eventually, right? Exactly. So like eventually there's not going to be faction balance. There's never faction balance. There's probably in Classic most people play Alliance, so like if you're on the Alliance side, you're probably going to be fine. If you're on the Horde side, you're probably going to get ganked a lot. Yeah, I think I have to just go on the PvE server. Even if that's not like the most popular choice. And then maybe by doing that, maybe I'll avoid long queue times, because I don't know. I just detect that there's going to be bands of roving asshats that are just going to target people who are trying to quest by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be out questing by myself. You know, I don't usually group up when I quest. I usually just do that stuff on my own. And I can't find the attraction in getting ganked by a roving band of asshats. And then at the same time, I also don't feel any particular motivation to go gank random people myself. Like, I'm not like, oh man, let's get into a group and let's go kill Horde players so that they can't continue what they were doing for a couple minutes. Like, it doesn't get my juices flowing at all. Yeah, Jason, I can imagine. The first server you played on was PvP. It was super frustrating trying to quest as Horde once you got the Terran Mill. Yeah. That's all I detect, is like, you're either on the faction that has the overwhelming majority and like, you'll get ganked every once in a while, or you're on the faction that has like less people and you're probably going to get ganked all the time. My fish is getting away a lot. I really need fish. I don't know if they understand how much I need fish right now. So yeah, we're gonna go on the PvE server. There's gonna be one PvE server. It's either going to be a US East Coast or US Central Time server, and that's where I'm going to go. I can't really imagine doing anything else. And then the RP PvP server, I guess that's if you want to roleplay, because like naturally by the meaning of roleplay, like there would be PvP when you're roleplaying because it's opposite faction stuff. So I guess if you wanted to roleplay, then your only choice would be RP PvP. Killing lower levels hurts your honor. Yeah, but what's considered a lower level? What if someone is 3 levels lower? Does that hurt your honor? I understand if they're like probably vastly, but does it really only? Because when you're fighting people in battlegrounds, you'll often have a few levels advantage or disadvantage, depending on where you're at in the bracket. And then killing someone in a battleground who's 2 levels beneath you doesn't hurt your honor. Why would it out in the open world? People killing quest givers would really screw up leveling. Yeah. Yeah, and if a faction gets overbalanced, like one side or the other, you can be assured that like the one faction's gonna go kill the other faction's NPCs. It's almost guaranteed. Yeah, like the thing is, I want to PvP in the new season. I just don't want to. I don't want to be on a PvP server. Like, I want to do the new Ashenvale event. I want to do Battlegrounds. I want to get the PvP gear. Like, I want to do all that stuff. But I don't think that means that I'm going to play on a PvP server and risk getting ganked just randomly, because like, especially for what I do, like somebody out there is going to gank me, obviously, and I probably deserve it, you know. It's probably somebody who, like, I've disparaged retail 1 times too many for them, and they're going to come make my life a living hell for the next hour. Like, so I probably deserve it, but I don't think I want to put myself in that position. Jay Holler, you're gonna go melee hunter? Man, I'm like I was so close to going melee hunter. I think I ruled it out. I want you to tell me how it goes though and how it feels. I'm thinking like the melee hunter, you're gonna have a pet out. I saw the flanking attack ability where like you and your pet both deal damage. It does seem like they've done quite a bit to make melee hunter a viable thing, and I'm kind of excited about it. But the thing is like, I worry that I just spent all this time on the hunter in hardcore, and like, am I gonna be bored? Or is it going to be boring to level up another hunter in Classic? Even though, like, eventually it's going to feel different, it's not going to feel different right away. Right away, we're still going to be playing a hunter. Like, we don't know how long it's going to take until we get, like, all the runes that we need to, like, change how the class plays. Lael, good afternoon, man. Welcome. PvP servers give you more adrenaline, so it's like the hardcore thing. So like PvP servers are kind of like hardcore before there was hardcore. It raises the stakes a little bit, right? So like any moment a band of asshats could come along and kill you. It raises the stakes. Unlike hardcore, there's like nothing you can do to control it. Like in hardcore, you have agency over what happens to you to some extent. But in a PvP situation, it might be that same kind of like risk and adrenaline, but it's like you don't have any control or agency over what happens. You know what I mean? Fleming, yeah, people in the UK always get screwed on this. But listen to this though, here's how it balances out. When you guys get your maintenance in the UK, I heard it's in the wee hours of the morning. I heard you guys get maintenance shutdowns like at a time when it makes sense. As opposed to here in the States when they shut it down in the morning through the afternoon. I hear that your guys' patches come at like a more reasonable time. So to me that's kind of like a trade-off. Yeah, 3 a.m. Yeah, so like 3 a.m. is a lot better to have the servers go down than like 8 or 9 a.m. when people might want to play, or all the way until noon or 3 o'clock. So, like, most of the time you guys have it good. I'd love it if they did maintenance at 3 a.m. over here in the States. Because that would mean that, like, my gameplay would never be interrupted. But they don't. They do it right when I want to start my gameplay, is when they want to take the servers down for maintenance, mostly. But yeah, having the launch happen at 10 o'clock sucks. But hey, it could be worse. For hardcore, you guys didn't get the launch until midnight. Technically, if you were in the UK, you didn't get hardcore launch until the day after hardcore launch was supposed to happen. And that was a big bummer. So at least they kind of squeaked it in, so it's technically the same calendar day for everybody. Blizzard would say they did the best they could. Yeah, it'd be too much to hope that they could have the servers up at noon, like their time. Like, why would they have the servers up at noon their time? They obviously need an entire workday to get the servers online. And so, they could have them up at noon, and then you guys would get them around like 3 in the afternoon or something. 3 or 4, if they put it up at noon Pacific destination time. It'd be more reasonable, but they won't do that because that would be hard work. They'd have to reevaluate and alter how they do things, and they're never going to do that. Patrick, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Alright, we got some fish. I think we're good for now. Let's go back to killing Centaur. And yeah, so I've been thinking about my class a little bit more, and I think I've kind of got it narrowed down to like maybe 5 classes. I know, you say, Robert, there's only 8 classes. How have you got it narrowed down and you've narrowed it down to only 5? I don't know. Apparently I'm just really bad at narrowing things down. James, you don't have to start from 0. You can die in hardcore and then just never play again. And I'm sure some people do that. Conversely, you could take your dead character and you could transfer them over to a not hardcore server. And then you could continue the journey over there. And they offer that service for free. But yeah, if you kill a hardcore character and you want to keep playing hardcore on the hardcore server, you have to do what we call going again. Whereby you make a new character and go again. But you don't have to do anything. It's completely your choice. What about race? I mean, I haven't really thought about my race. It'll depend on what class I go with. So right now, I've been thinking about a rogue. I've been thinking about a melee hunter. Like, I can't lie. I've been thinking about a melee hunter. I've been considering the warrior, so I did go through and I read the runes that have been data mined. I needed to go read the runes to see like what kinds of changes were happening for the classes. I couldn't keep operating from a point of no information. And so I saw that for the warrior they have a couple of runes that kind of bolster like two-handed weapon damage. And what I love to do on the warrior is have a big two-handed weapon and deal bleed damage, and it seems like they have some runes that are going to be in place to allow for that to be more optimal. Whereas typically, like, you really want to go Fury in Classic for like maximum damage. They are doing some things to make two-handed weapon wielding a little bit more powerful, it seems. So that was really appealing to me. I really liked the idea of that. Now granted, like, I always go arms anyway, even though it's not optimal. When I level a warrior in Classic, 90% of the time I go arms anyway. They got a few different abilities. They got like some kind of ability that allows for it's like faster swings on a two-handed weapon. You swing 20% faster with a two-handed weapon. That's pretty cool. They got the ability that deals damage and restores a little bit of HP. That's a pretty good one. They have a talent calculator for SoD. Yeah, but the talents aren't changing. This is what confuses me. Like, I saw that too. Sure, they have a talent calculator, but they're not making changes to talents. What they're doing is, like, for some of the new abilities, it will say things like any talent that affects X will also affect this. That's what I've seen. I haven't seen any changes to the talent trees. But they will say, you know, any change to Sinister Strike will also affect this new ability. So if you were to buff your Sinister Strike, you're buffing that new ability as well. But I don't think that's written into the talents. So those talents should just be the classic talent calculator. It shouldn't really be any different, unless they're working in little addendums to it to let people know what other runes the talent affects. Sodalish, good morning. Jess, good afternoon. You're only supposed to do one of the clan quests, Miguel? Well, I mean, technically, I guess you could do them both, but it would be twice as hard. Like, once you get friendly with one, the other hates you. I mean, you could get friendly with one, turn in the quest, get the XP, then you could go back and kill them, and get friendly with the other one. It's just going to be, like, kind of double the work, I guess. I've also been thinking about Warlock. I keep thinking about, you know, there's two things about the Warlock changes that I like. One of them is obviously that they can tank. That's really cool. Metamorphosis as a tanking form, really awesome. The other thing that I saw that I liked is they're working in Incinerate and Chaos Bolt. And I feel like with that, I would actually be able to be a Warlock that casts spells, instead of a Warlock that snaps its fingers and, like, nothing happens but the enemy has a dot on them. Like, I find the dots in Classic really, really boring, because there's basically no spell animation to speak of, and a lot of them are instant cast. So I feel like I would probably level, I'd level Destruction and focus on fire damage. And then I would get Incinerate and I would get Chaos Bolt. And that seems like that would be a lot of fun. And then of course like having the ability to tank at endgame. Or, well, I guess we can swap our runes out whenever, so, you know, as soon as I got the rune, I could just swap it out. I'm hoping they allow for dual spec at some point, even if they don't do it right away at 25. I feel like having dual spec would be great. Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if you go read all the current runes, like, that's not all the runes that are going to exist, I don't think. So, like, yeah, like, it's spoilery to some extent, but also, when you're thinking about picking a class, like, it's kind of important to know, like, how it's going to play. And what your options are going to be. Because some of the classes are going to be able to change quite a bit, like a melee hunter, that's very different. And some of the classes are not going to be very different. Some of the classes are going to resemble, like, themselves from other expansions. Like, the Pally resembles the Wrath of the Lich King Pally. The Druid, the Caster Druid's getting some abilities that kind of make it resemble like the post-Cataclysm Druid. So for a lot of the changes, they're taking inspiration from other expansions. But there are a couple of classes that are like fundamentally changing how they can be played. If I wasn't playing a Wrath of the Lich King Paladin, then I might have been more interested in the SoD Pally. The SoD Pally feels like it's going to play exactly like the Wrath Pally. Like, looking at all the abilities they're getting, I don't see how it's going to feel much different. And so since I have a Wrath Pally that I'm playing, I have to avoid it for now. Unless it turns out to be fundamentally different. Unless people get back to me about the Pally and say, hey, it doesn't feel like the Wrath Pally, it just feels like a different kind of classic Pally, then I would be interested. But to start with, I'm gonna have to avoid it. I should put up a poll to see like what you guys are planning to play, or what you're most interested in. I'd be interested to see like what people are playing and what people are not going to play. Maybe we'll do that in a little bit. Maybe I'll just put up all 8 classes and you guys can click the one that you think you're going to play or the one that you're most interested in playing. And I'd like to see like where everybody falls or if it's like an even spread. Here, I'll put it up now, then I can leave it up. There we go. I can only do 4 options with a poll. That is really lame. Oh my gosh, with a poll in YouTube, I can only do 4 entries. I can't have 8. Well, that busts my whole plan. I'm gonna have to send an email to YouTube now. That's gonna have to happen. It's gonna be the first email that I've ever sent them. But I'm gonna have to give them a little bit of creator feedback because they just totally shot down my cool idea of gauging how you guys feel about the different classes. I need 4 more slots for my poll at least. How dare they try to dictate and limit how I'm gonna take a poll? That's just rude, you know? Oh, there's the poll on Discord. Yeah, I feel like, you know, there are the people that are active on Discord, but they're not always everyone that's in the stream regularly. I'll check the poll on Discord though. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, see, we don't have a big. That's not a big result. Yeah, we don't have a lot of people filling it out on Discord because, you know, not everyone, like me, not everyone is active on Discord. Which is why I would prefer to be able to do it in the chat. Ghostly Bones, good morning to you. People are least interested in the warrior. Yeah, and I unfortunately, I kind of get it. Yeah, so no, I still don't know. I think it's between rogue, hunter, warlock. That's kind of, I guess that's kind of it. Rogue, hunter, warlock. And then like on the periphery, maybe warrior if all else fails. Like, yeah, sure, maybe I would play the warrior. I like the warrior. I like the warrior base class. I'm sure I would enjoy the warrior in SoD. Would it be the experience I was looking for with like getting to experience a different way to play the class? Probably not. Yeah, rogue tanking. Yeah, exactly. I thought that would be cool too. Like basically you're an evasion tank from what I can tell. And that would be cool. And then I also kind of have to think about my professions. And what I want to do with professions. Because like if I'm a warrior, then I have to take blacksmithing, and I really, really don't want to do blacksmithing. But if I go rogue, I can do leatherworking, and leatherworking is really easy to level up. If I go warlock, I can go tailoring and skinning, and tailoring is not hard to level up. Part of me wants to go warlock. Part of me thinks like, you know, it's only to level 25. You know, so if I play it to level 25 and if I absolutely hate it, then I can just roll something else up. Because part of me wants to try I want to do destruction warlock while leveling, and I want to focus on fire damage. And I want to focus less on dots. And then I want to tank. So maybe I'll just go warlock. We haven't played a lot of classic warlock in any shape or form for one reason or another. Like I kind of feel like casting dots is really, really boring. All I can explain why is that there's no real animation for a couple of your dots. So I find dotting things up really boring, but if I can go destruction, then I can just like rain hellfire down and have a good time. I can see my spell effects actually happening. And then being able to tank as metamorphosis form is just like really, really cool. Like that sounds really cool. Yeah. Like the two things that like fundamentally the two things that interest me the most, like theoretically, are the tanking warlock and the melee hunter. Like those are the things that are most intellectually like interesting to me when I think about how different the class is gonna feel compared to how it feels right now. It's like I'm really interested in the tanking warlock, and I'm really interested in the melee hunter. So I think that's gonna be 1 and 2. I think like I'll do warlock first, and then like once I've done some stuff at 25, once we've cleared the raid once, I will start leveling up a hunter, and then I'll have my tank and my melee DPS. And then that'll leave a range DPS. So, and then for the range DPS, I think at that point, I would do a mage. That way, if I ever wanted to, I'd also have a healer. So I think that would cover me. I think if I went warlock, hunter, mage, that would cover me. The only problem with that is that, you know, there are 2 clothies in there, but is that really a problem? I don't think that it is. Because if I think that's like I think that's good, because if I take tailoring on my warlock, I'll be able to hook my mage up with a bunch of gear when it comes time to play that one. So maybe or maybe priest, but like mage is more interesting to me. If they did some stuff to buff discipline damage, like if you could roll around as discipline spec and deal like a bunch of damage, then I would consider a priest. But I think like failing that, then I'd probably go mage. Ghostly, you think warlock is going to be the strongest class? It could be. You know, sometimes when they make a new tanking class or something, they do tend to overpower it. Think of like how overpowered the Death Knight was when it got introduced. And a lot of these things where they're changing the class a lot, it's going to be like a new class. I think there are going to be lots of classes that like kind of like peak and trough, and like they'll go up and down as they balance them. Because they're gonna have to do balancing, you know what I mean? Because yeah, people are gonna find combinations of runes and talents and play style that Blizzard didn't think of. Because they got like 5 people testing the game, right? They're internally testing it a lot, but with a team of 5. Like, I believe these people are playing the crap out of the game, but I do believe there's only about 5 of them. And so the players, once it gets out into the wild, players are going to find combinations of runes, abilities, talents, and playstyles that are going to be really, really overpowered, and that are going to have to be reined in. There's no way internal testing with a small group of people is ever going to find all that stuff. See, I'd love to play a hunter where like we start from range and we're fighting from range, and then they run up to us, and then we just like tear into them with melee abilities, you know? I don't think like as a hunter you'd ever want to stop using your ranged weapon, but I think it allows it so that like your pet would not have to taunt off of you. You just let that sucker come into melee range and you tank it. And then you combo up some abilities with your pet and you just fight it in melee. That's what I'd want to see out of the melee hunter. I want to start off like how I start off now. I want to go boom, boom, send my pet in. I don't want the pet to taunt. I want the enemy to keep running up to me, and then I want to finish him off in melee. Like, I think that'd be really, really cool gameplay for like soloing. Now, for like group content, I don't know what you would do. Maybe you would throw up a sting, and then you'd throw up an arcane shot, and then you'd be in melee, and you'd start meleeing. I don't know how that would work. Yeah, warriors are always strong. I feel like they said, you know, they had their whole meme at the end. Like, they don't want warriors to be OP, they want everybody to be OP. But if you start on a class that's already overpowered and then you add power to it, like, it feels like it's still going to be the most powerful class when it comes down to it, right? I don't think there's going to be a dual talent spec right away. They alluded to the fact that maybe it would be possible to come in the future. They did say they were going to greatly reduce the cost of respecking. Like, you're still going to have to go to the trainer, but it's not going to be nearly as expensive as it is right now. That's what they, like, promised right away. Is that right away it's going to be cheaper. I think, like, as they raise the level cap, maybe we'll see dual spec come in at a higher level cap. That would be my guess, is that you won't see it at level 25, but maybe you see it at like level 40. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Warlock. I think my first character is gonna be a human Warlock. Yep, I think that's gonna work. And then again, it's only 25 levels, you know. It's only 25 levels. If for whatever reason I hate it, I'll cap it out at level 25, and we'll just roll up a melee hunter. Like, for the first couple days of SoD, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna go hard, because like I don't really ever go that hard at anything. I'm too old to go hard, you know. However, like I would like to get the day stream in, and I would like to try to do evening streams also. 'Cause I kind of want to get as much playtime in as I can, especially for the first character, because like before any spoilers come out, or before like Questie starts tracking all of the discoveries, I'd like to play a bunch before any of that happens. I want to play a bunch before the majority of people hit 25. I don't need to be the first person to hit 25. I don't need to be among the first, but I definitely want to be up there. Context, yeah. No, I mean, like, I'm not gonna poop sock it, you know. But I would like to do a day stream and an evening stream for the first week or so. I think if I do a day stream and an evening stream for the first week or so, that'll see the character to level 25 very easily, and it'll probably also like start us on a second character, like. And then of course, like whenever we can do the raid, like streaming the raid. I wonder if like, yeah, I mean, I guess the raid is something that we'll probably do every week. So like, same kind of thing I was talking about with Wrath of the Lich King. I'd really like to, if we're gonna have like a weekly raid, like I would love to do that on Saturday mornings. Not super early, you know, but maybe around like 10 or 11 a.m. my time. And that does two things. Like, more people, I know that not everybody gets weekends off, and I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't create the world, I just live in it. I know everyone doesn't get weekends off, but like more people get Saturdays off than any other easily identifiable day here in the States. And if I do it at 10 or 11 in the morning, that makes it possible for people in the EU who want to play on the US server with us to actually be awake and coherent. Because if I do a raid at 5 or 6 my time, that's like 2 or 3 in the morning for people in the UK. So I think by doing Saturday mornings, I do two things. I do like things for people who have jobs. Like if you have a job, a lot of people get Saturdays off. And then if you're in the UK and you want to play with us, it'll be at a time that actually makes sense. So I would like to do Saturday morning raids. And then we'll see if we can get enough people on the sign-up sheet. And if we can, great. If we can't, then I'll rethink things. But yeah, we're gonna start off trying Saturday mornings once we're geared up to clear the raid weekly. Raid or raids. I guess we don't know if there's only gonna be the one. I would assume there'd only be like one raid per tier for now. And then if they wanted to do multiple raids, that they would have multiple raids at level cap. But who knows? I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that we're going to be raiding Black Fathom Deeps. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I would think one raid per like level tier. And then I would think multiple raids would be added over time at level cap. Like, level cap would probably open up with one raid, but then that's where they'll add more raids, you know? I do believe that, like, as the season goes on, especially if you know, we don't know how long the season's gonna be. But we have to assume it's gonna be 6 months to a year. And, like, I hate the idea of year-long seasons. I really hate it. But yeah, that's maybe what we can expect is 6 months to a year. So like with that much time in the season, you have to assume they're going to add like more raids at endgame. We're not just going to have like one endgame raid. Unless they wanted to do a really short season, I guess. But I can't imagine that the first season they do would be short. Because they're going to want to like... They're going to want to collect data. They're going to want to like introduce things into the season to test how they work. It's going to be like a big test bed for them. So I imagine it'll go on for a while. Robert, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Mark, have a good rest of your day, man. Thanks for being here. Alex, I have no idea, man. I don't believe that there is a way to handle faction balance. They said that they might stop people from creating characters of that faction on a server that's way overbalanced. That's like part of what I remember reading. That they said they would consider just stopping like too many alliance people And guess what? You can't create alliance characters here anymore. You can go Horde or you can go somewhere else. Like, they've never done anything like that before. It would be kind of unheard of for them. I feel like that's the only way to do it. I feel like the only way to do it is to stop people from creating characters of that faction on the server if it's already overbalanced. That does not mean that the server will come to balance, you know. That doesn't mean like somebody goes to make an alliance character and the server says, nah, we already got too many. It doesn't mean that that person is going to go make a Horde character on that server, so it doesn't mean that they might just go to a different server, they might quit the game, like who knows what they'll do. So that doesn't assure faction balance in and of itself, but it would be a step towards it. The PvE realm is going to be a West Coast server? Son of a bitch. That's aggravating to me, as I don't live on the West Coast. I live quite far from there. That sucks. Are we going on a PvP server? I did not anticipate that the one PvE server would be West Coast, but seeing as how it's Blizzard and their headquarters is over there, I guess it makes sense. There are more people on the East Coast, but, okay, yeah. Yeah, I kind of just assumed the PvE was gonna be East Coast. It being West Coast kind of sucks. Yeah, where did you see that? Because I saw the server types, but I didn't see the time zones listed. Maybe I wasn't looking closely enough. I saw a screenshot with the server types. Yeah, maybe I wasn't looking. Because I kind of really want to be on a East Coast server. I don't like it when the time is different because I'm kind of like, I'm weird about the time being different on the server. I know like ultimately it doesn't matter, but yeah, it kind of matters. Like when I'm playing in the evening, I want the game to be evening time. You know what I mean? And if I play on a West Coast server, when I play in the evening, it's like middle of the afternoon for the server time. I don't know, it's kind of like a shallow reason. It's a purely aesthetic reason why I don't like playing on a West Coast server. I just don't like the time being different in the game world from where I'm at. I don't know why it's jarring to me. I don't know. We'll see. Ah, muted. Damn it. Okay, that's one. That's one mute for today. I was looking at the server list that that Robert linked, and yeah, it seems like the normal server is West Coast, and I'm not happy about that. I don't think it's gonna change the fact that I probably need to play on a PvE server. Like I probably have to play on that server, so I don't think it's gonna change that. But I'm not happy about it. It kind of makes me not want to play on it, but I would like if you're gonna have, I guess like putting it in central would be better. Like at least putting it in central time zone would be like somewhere in the middle. It'd be a middle ground. I'd probably be okay with central time zone, but like I don't know. I feel like there should be options in that case. If they want to put one in the West Coast time zone, that's fine, but then there should be two. There should be West Coast and East Coast. They have to imagine that it's going to be popular enough to sustain that. I don't do the Batman voice unless I mute myself 3 times in one stream. We got close yesterday. We got to 2, and then I did the Batman voice anyway. My Batman voice is out of practice recently. It's not as good as it once was. She's still sick as a dog. Yeah, she's really, really sick. You'll probably hear her hacking her lungs out from her office across the basement at some point today. Through both walls and a shut door. She's just like, she's in rough shape. I think she's probably in like her worst couple of days. She still has to teach class, so it's a bad time for her. I think she got it. I think she got the coughing part of it worse than I did, and I thought mine was pretty like bad enough. Yeah, Central would be best, and they have a precedent. Like there are Central servers. I'm pretty sure like Zul'jin. I think I played on Zul'jin. I think that was a Central server. I don't know. Oh well, we'll see. I mean, like, it just feels weird to me. It's like it's purely aesthetic reasons. That's why like it's kind of a shallow reason. Let's say I wanted to be on in like Quest at night. Like I'm never gonna get to see it at night because like in WoW it doesn't get dark until 10 o'clock server time. If I'm on a West Coast server, 10 o'clock server time is 1 in the morning. Like I'm never gonna play at 1 in the morning. I don't even think I can stay awake until 1 in the morning. And so like I'm never gonna get to play the game in the night setting. That like I might never play at night anyway. But the fact that I won't be able to at all really annoys the shit out of me. The fact that if I get on and I quest in the evening time, like we're not gonna get to see a different skybox. We're gonna see the same damn skybox we've seen all day. Even if I get on at like 7 and I stream till 10, like we're gonna see the same effing daytime skybox because the server time, you know, it'll be the middle of the day. And so like that really just bothers me aesthetically. That's why I'm not happy about the West Coast thing. Taffy Laffy, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. That sounds awful. Yeah, you're gonna be feeling that for a while. I would say like perhaps even consult a doctor for an x-ray, because yeah, you could fracture or shatter your tailbone and like you'll just feel a lot of pain, like, but it, you know, it turns out you've actually broken something. So best of vibes to you, man. I hope that works out okay. It would be depressing to always look at the night skybox. Yeah, sure, it would, and I know that's true because when I was in my early 20s, I only ever played WoW at night. Like I only ever got to see WoW in the nighttime skybox because you know, I'd work during the day, I'd have things to do, and then so I was only ever able to get on and play WoW at night, like late at night, from like, you know, midnight until whenever I was going to bed, which would be like at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so I know it can be depressing, but it's equally depressing for me to only see it during the day. It's the same kind of thing. And if I play on a West Coast server, like I am only ever going to see the game during the day, no matter what. It's not going to be within my power to change it, because I am not going to stay up till 1 a.m. to play the game, because I simply don't stay up that late. But you know, what are my options? I don't really have any options. They only gave us the one PvE server type. If I want to play on an East Coast server, I have to play on a PvP server. Would that be okay? I don't know. The only contested zone that we would be questing in would be Ashenvale, right? Like up to level 25, what contested zones would we be in? We wouldn't be in any. You know, we would be doing we'd be doing some Duskwood stuff. And then obviously, like, you don't even necessarily have to quest a bunch in Ashenvale at that level. Like, you could quest elsewhere. And then Ashenvale is going to have that open world PvP event anyway. So, like, if you're hanging out in Ashenvale around level 25, like, you're probably going to want to get in on the PvP there anyhow. Hillsbrad on the, yeah, but Robert, remember, on the Alliance side, you don't quest in Hillsbrad at level 25. Not at all. I don't think there's a single quest for the Alliance that you can do in Hillsbrad at level 25. On the Horde side, you have to worry about higher level Alliance players, because Alliance players don't go into Hillsbrad. Like, you can go to South Shore maybe around level 29 or 30 to do the Murloc quest there and to do like the hulking mountain lions. But there's nothing for you at 25, so no, on Alliance we won't be there. Horde side, it'd be a really bad problem. Yeah, you'd go to Hillsbrad at level 23, and you'd have max level characters on the Alliance side just ganking you all the time for funsies. Like, I feel really bad for Horde players on PvP servers trying to quest in Hillsbrad. But on the Alliance, you're always going to be a higher level there, even if you were to run into Horde players, you know. Yeah, it's a Horde side level 20 zone, and it's an Alliance side level 30 zone. And so, like, yeah, I think on the Alliance, all I'd have to worry about is Ashenvale itself. Because we would quest in, like, all the low-level areas. Red Ridge, Duskwood, and Wetlands would be, like, where we're wrapping up to level 25. Like, we don't have to quest in Ashenvale. I often don't quest in Ashenvale on the Alliance. I made myself do it on this character. So we did it for a little bit, but I often don't do it. The terrain is very rugged. It's hard to get around. The quests are very far apart, and a lot of them involve running back and forth multiple times. And so the questing there on the Alliance side is not good. It's much better on the Horde side. So yeah, maybe if we went on a PvP server, like, I would not necessarily have to worry about it. Now the trouble comes in the next level bracket. The trouble would come in the next level bracket. Because the next level bracket would see us into Stranglethorn Vale. And that's where shit can get crazy. Yeah, exactly. The only problem would be Stranglethorn, yeah. Yeah, and so, like, I mean, right now I'm not the best PvPer, but I know how to play the game a bit, and I know how to learn a class, and Classic is not very complicated. So, like, if I could succeed at PvP in any version of the game, it would be in the Classic era. So, like, I don't know. The cool thing with the level bracketing is that it lessens the chance that you will be ganked by a much higher level character. You know what I mean? Like, so you're going to be in Stranglethorn, and the level cap at that time is going to be level 40. It negates the chance that, like, a bored level 60 rogue is just going to body camp you over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Maybe it would provide a different, more dynamic experience to my Classic experience. It would be the first time that I have ever played on a PvP server. In my life. In the whole of my life, it would be the first time that I've played on a PvP server. Which is interesting in and of itself. Yeah, it can happen later on if you're going to play alts. Yeah, sure. Sure, it could always happen. When I think about how often I actually come across other faction players, I don't come across them that often, even in hardcore where, like, the server population is really high. Now that could be because of phasing, because of layering, I'm not sure. What have we heard about layering? Have we heard about layering? Because layering is definitely going to affect how many people on the opposite faction you and I see. And that could be a different number. What if I'm fighting for my life in one layer, and you've shown up to help me, but you're in a different layer, and you can't help me until I invite you to a group? You know what? So if there's layering, then all bets are off. If there's layering, it's almost like server balance could matter a little bit less. In hardcore, you know, I don't know if that's true. In hardcore, like you're talking about the server that we're on right now. I don't know. I think it's 60-40. I don't think it's balanced, but I think it's as balanced as it's ever going to be. I'm pretty sure that Defias Pillager is like 60-40 alliance. If someone has actual numbers from like Warcraft Tavern or like a reputable site to refutate that, I would be open to checking it out. But from what I understand and from what I've observed with like some time like checking out like starter zones on the Horde side on this server, I'm pretty sure the faction balance is 60-40, and I can say that like a 60-40 balance in Classic is probably as good as it's gonna get. You're never gonna have a 50-50 split. It's not gonna happen. But I'd be willing to look at numbers, but I think that I'm right about this. I'm pretty sure Defias Pillager, being the popular hardcore server for the States, is 60-40, and the reason it's 60-40 is because 60% of Classic players prefer Alliance, and only 40% of Classic players prefer the Horde side. So, yeah, like, you know? So I think that like what I see now, the only thing that comes into add a variable to this is, like I said, is layering. Like maybe I don't see a lot of the other faction because of layering, you know, and maybe on the Horde side I wouldn't see a lot of Alliance because of layering. So are they going to be layering the seasonal server? I would assume they would have layers, you know, just like they do in hardcore, which is going to be weird. Shadow Parker, am I playing Classic? I mean, you've been here all day, man. You've been here all day. Are you okay? And you've been here before, so I don't know. What do you think? Ruby, hello. Welcome to the stream. I wandered out of the Centaur area, ranting about the faction balance, so now I gotta go back. Are we friendly yet? Did we hit our goal actually? Reputation. Yeah, hey, we did it. And that goes all the way out here. Okay, so we're good. We don't have to kill any more of these guys right now. I don't know. But maybe I'll end up on the PvP server. Maybe I will. We'll have to see. I'm gonna give it some more thought, but especially to level 25, you know, it's not going to be a problem. And then yeah, like alts and stuff could be an issue, but I don't know. I don't like that I'm being forced to go to a West Coast server. Like I'm really resentful. I'm really resentful that if I want to do a PvE server, that I'm going to be forced onto a West Coast server where like people who don't mind PvP servers, they get their choice. Like, if you don't mind a PvP server, you get your choice. If you want to go on a PvE server, fuck you, go play on the West Coast one. Like, I don't really appreciate that. And it's kind of making me want to, like, I don't want to add population to I want their PvE server to fall flat on its ass. I want the West Coast PvE server to be like a low pop server that nobody plays on, that they have to maintain for no players. Because I'm suddenly really resentful that I wasn't given a choice. Yeah, and questing with a group, that'd be a cool experience too. Like, let's say we're in dangerous areas, where let's say we're in Stranglethorn. Let's quest through Stranglethorn together. Yeah, let's get a group together. Like, everybody should get groups together and get into a group. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and let's just quest together once we're in Stranglethorn. You know, or if we're in some other area that's a highly, I don't know what the other contested areas are at high level. But yeah, like, that's definitely an option. And it would be very different than like any other mode of play that we've done. Robert, do you think there should only be one of each? And if there were one of each, the PvP server would be on the East Coast. That's the problem I'm having, is that I know for a fact that if they put out one PvP server and only one PvP server, it would have been an East Coast server. So the fact that they put out one PvE server and they put it on the West Coast, like, I'm not happy about it. I think I might go on the PvP East Coast server. When I play the game until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I want the game world to look dark. I don't know what else to, you can tell me it's the stupidest reason to make a choice, but I don't care. That's as may be, but I still feel how I feel. 10 crude charms. Okay, so we're going all the way back, I take it. Yes, we're going up here now. I should have set my Hearthstone. I should have been smart. Is the server list known? That we don't know the names, Ruby, but we know that there are going to be 2 PvP servers, one West and one East, 1 PvE server, 1 RP PvP server, and maybe 1 RP PvE server. I didn't see that one, but I didn't read the whole article. But we don't have the names. So the list is known in the sense that we know what types of servers will exist and how many of them, as well as their time zones, but they have not given them names yet. I don't know why. They think they're keeping some secret from us, but yes, for all intents and purposes, the server list is known. Yeah. There's no RP PvE. Okay. So yeah, 2 PvP West and East, 1 PvE West, 1 RP PvP East. That's what they've decided to go with, unless they change it. You know, they could make changes between now and tomorrow. Not that they often change based on feedback, but they could. They think that by not revealing the names, they think that stops people from all going to play on one server. But in reality, people are doing what we're doing right now, and they're saying, oh, we're going to go play on the PvP East server, or we're going to go play on the West PvP. Like, people are still doing the exact thing that they claim they're withholding the names for, which makes no sense to me. So, yeah. Shadow, good afternoon, man. Welcome to the stream. I mean, I'm sure some of them are RP. I'm sure, like, listen, let's not yuck anybody's yum. If someone wants to RP, even if they're bad at it, even if you might think it's cringe, let's just let them have it. Let's not yuck anybody else's yum around here. You know, PvPers can do, or RP PvPers can do their thing. They can go RP, and I think for me, like, the point of having it PvP is like when you're RPing in a faction war, like, of course there's PvP. But let's let them have it. Well, yeah, by limiting the amount of servers, they are forcing people to play on certain servers. You know, just by limiting the amount, by not having multiple options for each type. Yeah, by not saying, like, there's 2 PvE servers, there's multiple PvP servers, there's multiple RP but by not having multiples, they are forcing people to where they're forcing them. Yeah. Like, how do they not get it? Like, they're gonna end up with one PvP realm that's going to be grossly overpopulated, and they're probably going to have to cut off character creation, and they're probably going to have to cap, like, the amount of people on certain factions. Like, they're probably going to have to take all these actions. Not telling us the names of the servers is not going to, like, fix that situation. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they don't make any changes between now and tomorrow. But I will say that if there is still only one PvE server tomorrow, and if it is a West Coast PvE server, then I'm probably going to have to go on the PvP East Coast server instead. I think I'll have to go on the East Coast PvP server. If that's my choice. And then that'll be okay. That'll be an experience that I've never had before with WoW. So it'll probably be worth it. Yeah, Ruby, I don't either. I talked about it earlier in the stream. I don't really understand the motivation for that, but I guess like what it came down to is some people want bragging rights. The bragging rights, like, oh, I ganked that guy, like I'm so awesome. And some people think it just raises like the stakes of leveling. You know how like leveling is kind of like, you know, it's rote. You know what's gonna happen. There's not gonna be any big surprises. Like when you're not playing hardcore, there aren't going to be any surprises while you're questing and leveling. You know, you might die, but whatever, it's not a big deal. But I guess, like, you know, having PvP, like, the fact that, like, another player could attack you at any moment adds kind of, like, a sense of danger, you know, so maybe, like, it ups immersion for some people. I think that's what it came down to. Like, some people just want the bragging rights because they are 12. And then for a lot of other people, it ups, like, the immersion factor of the game. It lets them get into it and engage with it a different way. And it just kind of like creates like excitement, like knowing, oh, at any moment I could have to fight somebody else off. And that's what I gathered. The immersion part I definitely get. It's kind of like in hardcore, the reason why hardcore is so immersive and I get so into it is because, you know, at any moment, everything could go completely pear-shaped and we could die. And it actually is meaningful because you can't die. You know, with PvP, like, it's not permadeath, but it does kind of, like, it gives you a sense of danger that you would not otherwise have, and that can increase your immersion. I love having a 50% chance of being one-shot 30 times for every quest. You know, I think the chances of getting one-shot are less than that, and I think, like, especially in a seasonal model where they're capping the level cap at each step of the way, it's going to be less. Yeah, like, it maybe not. Like, I think that if you're the faction that's like grossly outnumbered, then maybe it could be that way. But if there's a 60-40 split or like better, then I don't think so, because also keep in mind that a lot of the questing areas, like in some of the zones, they're different. So like when you're doing a quest on the Alliance, it's not always the case that like Horde players also have a quest there. Sometimes it is, but not always. So I feel like the survival rate might be more than 50-50. I get what you're saying though. It could increase the immersion or break it if you get killed over and over again. Yeah. I mean, these are valid points. But again, like I said, best to go in a group. Like, if you are going to quest in a contested area and you think it's dangerous, best to go in a group. You know, that's the great thing about having a community to play with, is that, you know, you can find someone who's at the same level as you to group up with. Shane, it's not always just contested areas? What do you mean? Like, from what I understand, unless it's a contested area, like, I choose whether or not I'm flagged. Or are you talking about people killing NPCs? Like, if I'm running around, you know, Elven Forest, like, I don't flag myself, a Horde player cannot show up and kill me. So if I'm not in a contested area, like, I'm not flagged. So, like, I guess I don't know what you mean. Yeah, but Robert, Asmon's guild will be Alliance, and so will we. So God forbid that we ended up on the same server as Asmongold. But if that were the case, then we would both be Alliance. And then, you know, the Alliance would probably have an overwhelming, like, the Alliance is going to have the 60-40. Alliance is probably going to have the 60-40 on all the servers. Because that's the percentage of players that like the one faction over the other is 60-40. They did both Horde and Alliance, oh god. That's fine. There will still be a 60-40 Alliance Horde ratio. I mean, you guys are telling me all these things that could happen. And, like, I understand that it's, like, that it can be shitty. You know what I mean? I understand it's shitty to show up at town and, like, the quest givers are dead. And there's a level 25 rogue here camping them. Like, that's a shitty situation. But then I feel like there's a story that unfolds because of that, you know? This dude's camping, so a story starts to unfold. It begins with you being really inconvenienced. And then you get some guildies together. And then you kill the rogue, and then he gets some of his friends, and then he comes back and kills your 5-man group, and then all of a sudden you got a 25-man raid group, and you're fighting it out in the zone, you know, against the other faction. I feel like stories unfold in the game from those kinds of interactions, as shitty as they can be to the person that wants to just keep their head down and do the questing and do the questing and do the questing. I actually feel like a lot of dynamic moments can happen. Even as a result of someone's abject shittiness at wanting to, like, kill quest NPCs, you know? Buffalo Bill says, the good news is Asmon will play for 2 days and then stop like he always does. That is, you know, probably what would happen. I think, like, maybe he tries to play but then has a miserable time because of, like, how things are for him. Like, maybe in part because of how the community is. I feel like he does try to play but then ends up having a miserable time. Yeah, and then it also compels you to group up. I feel like I want to do that. Like the whole West Coast PvE server thing just kind of like pushed me towards that. But I feel like the more I think about it, you know, it could be fun. His guild will probably continue. Yeah, they could, but they're not gonna hold it together forever. The people that are gonna be in Asmon's guild are probably not the most dedicated, assiduous people that, like, you know they're gonna fracture, fall apart, go do other things, get bored of playing. They'll go back to watching the stream, you know, like they're not, I don't know, maybe. And whatever, like if it does, you know, then it's still those same moments that I'm talking about. It'll be the day that you had to put up with, like, some people from Asmon's guild, and then you got a group together and you killed them. Like, then you get to have a story that happened. As opposed to, or you could just have another day where you did 30 quests and there were no problems and you got them all done and then you leveled up. Like, you can have the either story, and neither one's wrong. But yeah, you can have the story of the day you got griefed by Asmon's guild and then got a guild group together and went back and killed them. Or you can have the story of the day where you did 30 quests that you've done before and you did them the same exact way you did them before and you got them all done smoothly and you leveled up. Like, yeah, you can have either of those, I guess. And I guess maybe the difference is, like, how long you've played WoW. Like, as someone who's played WoW for 20 years, like, having those inconvenient moments that turn into stories is actually really appealing to me. Sorry guys. My awesome wife brought me a BLT and Goomba, my puppy, busted into my office. Yeah, he's crazy now. He wants to still fit in my lap, but he's too crazy and he's too big for my lap now. Leo, you want to be on the server that Esmond's not on? Yeah, I mean, I understand that sentiment. I don't know. Maybe he'll go on the West Coast server. I feel like streamers usually go on the East Coast server, but since he is in Texas, maybe he'll go on the PvP West, and we'll be on the PvP East. Maybe it won't even be an issue. And so when they continually camp you, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, there's ways around that. Eventually, you just run away. Like, you can get close to your body. You know, you hide behind a tree. You're close to your body. You res up, and you just run away. Like, unless you're trying to res, like, right on top of where you died. Like, now, yeah, you'll say, like, well, I got quests to do in that area. Like, I'm trying to quest there. They're going to find me. Like, I get it. I think, like, maybe, like, I get that, like, my interpretation of the events that unfold are going to be different than like most people's, because like you know, like to me it's an interesting interaction that can happen, I guess, like when I think about it. Even if it's me having to flee an area because it's camped out and I can't quest there right now because somebody keeps killing me, even if that's the story that unfolds, it's still different than what would have ever happened otherwise. It's still like a unique story that happened like along the journey. Is my female rogue alive, George? My hardcore human female rogue? No. I got her killed a long time ago. Yeah, I died to Murlocs in Westfall. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what I'd like to do. I feel like there being only one PvE server and it being West Coast and really annoying me, I think that happened for a reason. And I think the reason is so I can play on a PvP server for the first time in my life. And learn about what it's all about. And like a lot of you guys play on PvP servers and you aren't like, Robert, let me tell you, don't fucking do it. Like no one who has played on a PvP server has said that to me yet. Like like me in the past, a lot of the negative sentiment towards PvP servers is from people that don't play on them regularly. But like the people who play on them regularly, they're not like, oh my god, let me tell you, I regret every day of my life. It's miserable and I don't want to play the game anymore. Like nobody says that who plays on a PvP server. PvP servers are great unless you start late. I think like starting late but also having a faction imbalance. And I think with the level banding is going to help that a lot. Like, I bet the average person who plays like a couple hours a day, like let's say you can play WoW for like an hour or two a day, most days. I think most people will easily be able to get 2 characters up to level 25, you know, before the level band ends. Like, I think you'll be able to level characters up quickly, and you won't really, you won't run into that problem of being like in Hillsbrad at level 30 and having a level 60 come at you. Now, yeah, if you're trying to start up at the very end of the season, so the season is over, there's no new content coming out, all the level bands have been released, and then you're trying to start, yeah, like, you're gonna be kind of screwed. But listen to this. It's okay. It's okay that you're screwed. Because the season's gonna end. Because it's a seasonal game. And then a new season's gonna start eventually. So you might be screwed out of that season. You didn't hear about Season of Discovery until level 60 came out. You really want to play on a PvP server, but you're gonna have some problems because you're really, really late to the season. It's okay. It's fine. You're not late to the whole game because guess what? The season's going to end, a new season's going to start, and you're going to have a new opportunity to go again. That's why it would be okay. Like, if I'm trying to level up my 5th alt, and like I can't because I'm getting, you know, so what? So what? Who cares? It's my 5th alt. Ruby, have I ever hit 60 on hardcore? No, not yet. Closest was 47 and then I retired him. Guys, what I'm going to do here, let's see, we have 8 out of 10. I'm going to eat this sandwich and eat this soup, and I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to keep playing the game. And so that's how we're going to do it today. And I will pin a note here. I will pin that, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Whoa, that's nice. We got a blue. What did we get? We got the River Pride Choker. Okay, okay. I don't really need the strength. The stamina would be nice. I know it wouldn't be nice. This is going on the auction house. Yeah, I'm gonna sell this for like 5 gold. There's so much derision in the chat. You guys are all conflicted. Yeah, listen, like, I get that it's not for everybody. And I'm sorry if it's not for you and if you're not interested in trying it out and seeing how it is. Like, I totally get it. It's fine. I think everybody should play the game in the way and in the place that they're going to have the most fun. Like, what I find interesting in the game after playing it for 20 years and playing it with you guys and, like, creating content for it is necessarily going to be different than what somebody is going to experience, like, playing on their own or playing in the community. So yeah, I get it. People should play where they want to play, and you should play where you think you're going to have the most enjoyment for your time, because a lot of people have limited time to put into the game, so I totally understand. Obviously, like, my situation is a little bit different. I play the game quite a bit, and I've been playing it for a very, very long time, and, like, for me, having some different experiences and, like, checking out PvP in a seasonal setting is much more appealing to me than in a lives forever character. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would ever level up a character on a PvP server in a lives forever server if we're talking about, like, a progression server where we're going from Wrath of the Lich King into Cataclysm. Like, no, I don't want to live there. Like, I think for me, like, a PvP server is going to be a really fun place to visit, but it's not going to be a place to live. I am not then going to roll up my characters on a Wrath PvP server. I am not then going to roll up my characters on a retail server. Because in those modes of the game, like, years later, I might want an alt. And if years later I want an alt, I don't want to be hassled trying to level them up. But when we're talking about seasonal content, it just kind of occurred to me, like, yeah, like, a season of WoW is the perfect place to see, like, what a PvP server can be like. And what kinds of things can happen and what can we get up to in that environment. And then it's a season, we play the season. If we hate it, we never go again. You know, shit, if I hate it leveling up my first character, I'll stop and I'll roll on the PvE server. Like, it's not a big deal. But I don't think I'm gonna hate it, especially, like I said, because it's seasonal. So it's not a live forever character. There's not going to be any progression into the other expansions. We're not going to be leveling characters up, you know, on the Season of Discovery server 2 years from now to worry about alts at that point, the way we have alts in Wrath now that we're leveling up even today. It's not the same at all. And I think thinking about it the same way as you think about other versions of WoW is kind of a mistake. Because a seasonal server is not at all like any other version of the game. The character's gonna end. The character's gonna end anyway when the season ends, you know. But I think for me, it could be a chance to have some different experiences that I've never had before in a game that I've played for 20 years. And I get that doesn't appeal to everybody. Yeah, I'm sure. And Matt, actually, with Season of Mastery, at first there was an option to switch them over to Era. Eventually, you were able to send them over to Wrath of the Lich King. I sent my Season of Mastery level 60 Human Warrior from Season of Mastery, like a year after the servers had shut down. I sent her over to a Wrath of the Lich King realm, so it didn't even limit me to a Classic Era. And who knows if the same thing might happen with seasonal characters. Like, eventually, if you do end up playing that character more, you'll have transferred it off anyway. And then if you start on a PvP server and you have a horrible fucking experience, then when it comes time for the season to end, you can just send that character to a PvE realm. If you have any interest in playing them again. For me, a seasonal character is meant to live in the season. It's not a character that I plan to take into an Era realm and do Era raids with. For me, the seasonal character is all about the seasonal content. Yeah, and I'm expecting the season to be anywhere from 6 months to a year, so... But yeah, I do think that's what I'm going to do. The more I think about it, the more it sounds enjoyable. Not even enjoyable. It might not be enjoyable. There might be times where it is absolutely horrible and we're getting killed again and again. But it's going to be a unique experience for me. It's going to be different. So I think I'm going to do that. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna go on the East Coast PvP server, and I'm gonna get to experience what that's like. I mean, I especially don't think that up until level 25, like I said, you're gonna be able to avoid PvP entirely. Like you're not. It's not gonna be an issue. It's only gonna be an issue in Ashenvale. And the point of Ashenvale is there's a big open world PvP event anyway. And so the Ashenvale PvP is a big part of the season. So if you're planning to not interact with the Ashenvale PvP at all, then I feel like you're going to be missing out on like a big chunk of like what the seasonal content is. Slidex, I haven't played either of those classes enough to have much of an opinion, honestly. I can do a poll. Nah, I'm not gonna do a poll for this. I could do a poll, but I'm not gonna do a poll for this. Listen, if I did a poll for this, it would never affect my decision. So I feel like maybe doing a poll is like disingenuous, because like I've made up my mind at this point. Yeah. I did that thing where you think about something and you look at it from many different angles and you come to a new conclusion. Like I did that thing. So I'm sorry if that like I'm sorry if my sudden like interest in the PvP server like offends somebody, or you know it's not what you expected. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. And I think about things a lot, and sometimes when I think about things a lot, I come to different conclusions about them than I've came to in the past. Sure, if you're interested in just the data, sure. Let's see. But the problem with the data is, Alex, now I've ranted about it for a while, so like the data is going to be corrupted now. Because, you know, I've ranted for a while. So I can do a poll. Whoa, what did I do there? That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. For the new season of Discovery, which server type most interests you? All my surveys have to sound like corporate surveys, obviously. Okay, here we go. Boop. Have at it. Oh, I have to get rid of my prior note is in the way. Let me unpin my my message. There we go. I know how this falls because I know what my audience is. Like I know the most of the people that like find my content and come into the streams are PvE server people. So like I don't know. But maybe after my ranting, maybe it would now be like more evenly split. Maybe we'll get the classic 60-40. We'll get a classic 60-40 split. We're done here. I can get on the road and go turn this quest in. I'm pretty sure she gives us at least one more quest. We're gonna be doing the East Coast PvP server. So there should be 2 PvP servers. One looks like it's gonna be West Coast. One's gonna be East Coast. I'm going on the East Coast. Yeah, basically this started from a desire to be on an East Coast server, and the only PvE server is West Coast. But then it kind of like grew in my mind and evolved into this idea that it might actually be interesting for me to experience a PvP server, since I never have. I never have, and I'm not getting any younger, you know, so if I'm ever going to experience it, it should probably be now. I don't want to be on my deathbed and have like the one regret, I just wish I had tried a PvP server, just one time, a single PvP server. Like, I don't want that to be like my regret on my deathbed, you know. So at least this way I check it off the list. And a season, for me, like a season is the best place to try like new things. Because eventually the season ends. I guess maybe I should do this one. Maybe I should bring 5 tamed Kodos back. Our quest log is full. Yep, that follows. Of course it is. Raptor Master, we can go. Colonel Kurtzon can go. There we go.
Talk to me. Hurry back.
My deathbed regret, PvP, yeah. Not very likely. That's an exaggeration, obviously. I exaggerate for comedic effects sometimes. But still, to be fair, it's one of the few things I've never done in the game. 60-40 is split. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and most of you guys would go PvE. I totally get it. If we were talking about like a new expansion, I would go PvE. If it was for Cataclysm, like obviously we're going to be on PvE for Cataclysm. Because in Cataclysm, I might be leveling alts years down the road. You know what I mean? Same thing with Wrath. Like in Wrath, we might be leveling alts years down the road. We want to be on the same server all the whole time. So I'm not going to pick a PvP server for like a long-term character. But for a short-term character that's only going to be around for a year at the longest, I feel like, of course, like it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to try it out now, in the season. Because I'm never going to do it in any other version of the game, you know? Yeah, and I think especially, like, coming off of playing hardcore, like, let me share with you guys another worry that I have about the new season. It's going to be really cool to be in the new season. We're going to have lots of cool new abilities. The classes are going to feel a little bit different for the most part. My worry for myself is that I won't be as into it as I am into hardcore. Because without, like, I'm worried that I'm used to, like, the sense of danger and the sense that every single thing I do is going to matter. And I'm kind of worried about not feeling that way in the season because, you know, we're not a one-life character. And so, yeah, like, PvP is kind of a way to up the excitement. Because what's happening when you're not a one-life character, like, sure, you have exciting moments. Maybe we'll do a big pull and we'll survive the pull. I'm like, oh, that was a huge pull. We survived. But we survived. But there was never anything at risk. And so it's not as exciting. So if we add in the excitement of potential PvP that could happen at any moment, then maybe that, like, makes up for it. Maybe that makes up for, like, the lack of potential excitement from it not being a one-life character. Because that's kind of been something that's been tumbling around in my head. It's like, how is Classic gonna feel when I can die 1,000,000 times and it doesn't fucking matter at all? Like, how is Classic gonna feel then? Am I still gonna be as engaged in it? I hope so, because of, like, the newer content we're getting, but I don't know. We're gonna find out. And it might be a thing I do for the season, and then if I learn that I hate it, I never do it again. And then we've spent one season on a PvP server, big deal. It's like, I think it's like, it's better to think long term. Like, it's better to think long term. In the long term of things, it's only going to be a year-long season at the longest, you know. Potentially it could be shorter than that. Is something going wonky with my quest tracking here? I could have swore I returned that Kodo. Did I leash that Kodo? I'm so worried. What am I doing wrong here? Maybe I don't need the ancient ones. I need aged. Not ancient. This guy over here we need. I must have leased the one. I thought I had him. What did I break this quest? In what way did I bork the quest? Is it like I totally messed the quest up. Like I've destroyed the quest. For 3 minutes I've broken the quest. I bet I can run back, drop the quest, and retake it before 3 minutes is up. I'm not sure what I must have blacked out for a moment, stopped paying attention, and I somehow broke the quest. So yeah, let's just go ahead and try that all again from the top. Yeah, I mean, maybe that could happen, Alex. I can only factor that in so much. I can only factor in what other people want to do so much. You know, I ultimately, like, I have to do what I want to do. And I totally understand that that's not what other people want. I totally get it if people just want to go on a PvE server. I understand. I really do. But ultimately, like, I can only do what I want to do. And it started with the absolutely, like, not wanting to be on a West Coast server, but it has kind of grown into something that's a little bit more important to me, so I don't know.
What's up? Glad I could help.
I still kept the debuff even after dropping the quest. For shame. Oh, and I'll find a way to do endgame content. Listen, I need to find 10 people. Like, I'm gonna find the people I need to do the content, no matter. That's not a concern of mine. Like, I'm gonna be in a brand new season with a bunch of hype. And it's gonna be really easy for a lot of people to get to level 25. Unlike, like, getting to endgame in Wrath, or getting to endgame in Classic, or even in Retail, it's not gonna be hard for tons and tons and tons of people to get to level 25. And my standards on whether or not I'll let you into a raid are really low. Like, and so, like, I will find people to raid with. That I'm not ever going to concern myself about that. Not when it comes to filling out 10 slots in a classic raid that happens at level 25. Like, it's not going to be a problem for me. I'm not even going to sweat it. If I have to pug every single raid, I will. I'll get on Saturday mornings, and I will sit in looking for group, and I will pug every single raid week if that's what I have to do. Because there will be groups, and I will raid, and I'm not worried about it. Like I said, if we were talking about going into Kata, or doing a version of the game that was going to go on and on and on, then I would never go PvP. Not the me standing in front of you right now. I would never go PvP if it were a long-term version of the game. This is a season. It's the time to try something different. It's not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. It's absolutely okay. I have to talk to the goblin. Like, I'm returning these guys. I'm returning them. I gotta click the Kodo. I don't just have to click the goblin. I need to click the Kodo. Once he's returned, he reigns up like he's done, but if you don't click him, you don't get quest credit. Good to know. I gotta talk to the Kodo. Hey Kodo, do you agree that you're checked in here at the quest? Do you agree that you're good? Okay, good. I have to talk to the Kodo. Can I get these guys too, or does it have to be the aged ones? Oh no, I can tame any of the dying, decaying Kodo. It doesn't matter. And then look, I heal them, I make them better. They go from like a decaying Kodo to a tamed Kodo, so it's like a public service. Logical Swede, that's good to hear, man. I appreciate you saying so. Thanks for being here and hanging out with the stream also. Taffy, in the realm selection for Classic, there's another tab that says the One Realm. So my favorite thing to say is, sounds made up. I feel like if I tried hard enough, I could outrun this guy with Cheetah Aspect on. Tavi says, "Go look. It's under the seasonal tab." Okay, okay. I will go look. Let me get like relatively safe here and turn this Kodo in, and we'll have a little look. Let's log out really quick. I'm gonna humor you, Tavi, but you only get this one time. If I go through the whole thing of stopping the stream and I go look right now, and it doesn't say the One Realm, I'll never believe anything you say ever again in this world, or possibly the next world, if we come in contact there. So this is the one. This is what you get. So we'll see it. We're gonna see. Okay, seasonal. Ah, the One Realm. The One Realm to rule them all. The One Realm to bind them. I don't know. I don't know what it means. It's clearly a diversionary tactic, you know. They want you to think they're going to have one realm. And as cool as that would be, we already know that's not the case. But this is like their testing realm to see if they can list a realm in the hardcore tab or in the seasonal tab. They're just testing the seasonal tab. Basically, this is a placeholder for the seasonal tab, so they know they can still put servers into the seasonal tab. So tomorrow, when they go to put a bunch of servers here, they know they can actually do it. That's all this is. Yeah. That's all this is, guys. This is them testing the seasonal tab to make sure they still know how to add servers to the because the guy who added the Season of Mastery server to this tab, that guy's probably gone. You know, he probably got fired or he quit. And so this was them testing that they could actually do it still, that they knew how to do it. That's all that it is. And it's also like, by the name of it, it's really like, it's also really good, not even hype, but just like internet buzz. Like, shortly, the internet might be a buzz. The One Realm, is Blizzard gonna pull the trigger on one mega realm for their new season of Discovery? New evidence indicates that they will. Will it be PvP or PvE? Will all the PvEers cry because they're stuck on the one PvP realm? It's clearly just a diversionary thing, you know, for them to test. They're testing it and they're having a go at you, you know? Yeah, they're taking the piss out of the idea of a mega server. They're taking the piss out of the idea of a mega server while testing their functionality and ability to put up a seasonal server. That's all that it is. But yeah, there you go. Taffy, you're off the hook for this one. Yeah, it's placeholder. It's placeholder. It's testing functionality, and they gave it a funny name to aggravate the internet. And now that I've come back from doing that, the weird thing is, like, on my screen, I see my start bar. When I look at the stream, like, you guys don't see my start bar, but I see my start bar. There we go. I fixed it. I fixed it. Alright. We're good. We're now good to go. It's not terribly hard to aggravate the internet? Yeah, see, that's true, and they know that, so that's why they did that. You don't think I could leash them? I worry that I could leash them with Aspect of the Cheetah. That's why I was keeping an eye on them. I was worried that, like, eventually I would just get too far away. But apparently, maybe you can't. Maybe on a mount you could.
Time is money, friend. Hurry back.
Alright, now we can come down here and we can turn this one in. This quest up here I've never done before because I've never gotten that quest from Ironforge. So I've actually never done this Reclaimer's quest. I don't think I've even been into that area too much because there's never really been a reason for me to be up there. So that's going to be new. And that's kind of exciting. That being said, it's a long way from where we're going right now. I probably should have set my Hearthstone back at Nigel Point. You would think that, like, since we're friendly with them, maybe they would have, like, some vendors, or maybe they would have, like, an inn that we could set our Hearthstone at, or some other cool, like, fringe benefits. Bring 6 bags of crudely dried meat. Okay. Do I have a video about the Druid? Yeah, I got a couple series on Druids. We're doing a retail playthrough of the Druid right now. I have a hardcore Druid that died at level 27? A couple Druid playthroughs. And then we have a Wrath of the Lich King Druid who I jumped on the other day. Like a couple days ago I jumped on that Wrath Druid. And we're like level 34, 35. It's not a class I've played a ton of. But I have played some of it. Part of me wants to go work on the green quest first. What is it, level 33? We have a few levels before we lose it. So even if I for some reason hit level 37, which I doubt, we should still be okay. Jason the Tauren Druid, it was okay. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something that I would play long term, but I kind of liked stacking the bleeds. Like, we got a couple bleeds as the cat druid, and I kind of like the idea of stacking the bleeds and keeping the bleeds going. That was, it was interesting gameplay. I don't know if it would be something I'd be interested in doing in like a group setting, because I don't know if I could do it well. But just trying to keep the bleeds up constantly was pretty fun. Fleming, what do you farm or where do you farm to be able to afford a mount for level 40? I guess the best places to farm would be, like, I do my farming in the Badlands. And there's coyotes there that have like fluffy tails or something like that, and then cats drop bristly whiskers. So if you can stack up like fluffy tails and bristly whiskers, those sell for quite a bit. So typically Stranglethorn, the Badlands, decent places to farm up gold money. It's about 90. If you have a reputation with your faction, which mostly you do at that level, the total comes out to be about 90, I think, between the mount and the riding skill. It's not quite 100. You know, Alex says you don't need to farm, just swipe your credit card. Right, you could buy gold illegally from a gold seller, which is probably what a lot of people do. Man, like, I have not been paying attention to how much gold we have at all. But that's where we're at. We're at, if I look at all the gold off all my characters, since we lost the 23 gold on the Pally, we only have 43. But 43 is not bad. You know, if I wanted to dump all the gold onto this character, having 43 gold right now is not bad. I might be able to make like 5 gold off of this this neck piece. It's a pretty good neck piece for level 28. So, like, we're not doing horribly. We're at level 36. I feel like if I'm careful, we might not need to do like too much farming. We'll have to do some farming, but we won't have to do a ton. If I don't spend a lot of money, if I don't visit the auction house, stuff like that will play a factor. Yeah, having skinning is also big. If you want to have an easier time of saving up your mount money, being a skinner is really good. Even if all you're doing is vendoring stuff. Even if you're not like working the auction house, I feel like it's still good. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this bag right here. There we go. That's what the bags look like. Selling ore is good, but like ores are harder to come by. Yeah, like for me, if I want to take professions that I'm just gonna make money off of them, then I would go skinning and herbalism, because ore does sell for a lot. If you want to sell it on the auction house, I feel like it could be good, but it's harder to come by. It's a lot easier just to go farm up skins. Oh my god, Alex. Was that was like level 57 or 58 when your lock died? You had 300 gold? That's a lot for classic. That is a lot of gold. And at that point you'd already paid for, oh, you didn't have to pay for your mount, that's right. That's, well, you still would have had like 200. Even if you had to pay for the mount. I guess that I did. You know, when I decided on the Warlock earlier, I wasn't even thinking about the mount, but that's another good reason to go on a Warlock, is because I don't have to worry about saving up the money. The thing but with the level bands, I feel like maybe you'll have a lot more gold by level 40. If you're playing at endgame and you're doing like endgame content, you're doing your raid every week. If you're playing at endgame, then you know you should be saving up gold. If you're focusing on that one character, and then by the time you get to level 40, like, gold for the mount shouldn't be a problem. Do I think they should have mounts at level 20? I mean, they're having Ashenvale mounts, so, like, technically you're getting a level, like, 25 mount, but only to be used in Ashenvale. And no, I don't think so. No, I don't think they should give us mounts at level 20 necessarily. I think that would take away a little bit. I'm like, getting the mount for Ashenvale is gonna feel really weird anyway, like having the mount, but it kind of makes sense since like they want people to do the PvP or PvE content there. So that's gonna be weird enough. The weirder part is gonna be like you'll get your mount in Ashenvale, and then when the level band expands and it's time to move on, you're gonna not have that mount. So you're gonna get used to having a mount like in one zone that you're not gonna have in the rest of the experience. So we're out. I'm sorry, Kermit. You have to die. You have to die for the cause, my friend. I think we're good. That patrol was wicked. That was a wicked patrol. I'm gonna do tailoring on the Warlock. I wanna do tailoring. They're gonna be making some new patterns, like some new crafted gear that you can craft at level 25, and I want to be able to make that stuff. So like no matter what character I go on, I want to do a production profession for their armor. I want to be able to craft the new armor pieces they put in for professions. So I'm gonna do skinning and tailoring on the Warlock. You know, just skinning is like mainly for money, but there are a few patterns on tailoring that like you need skins. So like having my own skins is good. I think I'm gonna do tailoring skinning. I mean, I could do tailoring enchanting, but I hear that like classic enchanting is not very good anyway. That's what people tell me. People tell me that besides the wands, like classic enchanting is not very good. Monica, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I want to fight this guy at all. Let's go back across the river. Enchanting is hard. Yeah, that means I shouldn't do it. Like, if it's hard to do, I should stay away from it. I think I'll probably just go skinning. I'll go skinning and tailoring, and that way I'll sell the skins that I don't need. I'll have a little bit of extra money. And then I could just pay for my enchants when I need them. I'll pay somebody else to do it. They should let enchanters make scrolls that they put up on the auction house. You know, instead of having to like solicit an enchanter directly, they should just make like scroll of enchant chest with whatever, scroll of enchant weapon with whatever. And that way a person could just go to the auction house and buy their enchants. That'd be a good like quality of life system. Yeah, and then the other thing, like, enchanting is technically like a gold sink, because instead of vendoring your trash greens, or putting your greens on the auction house, like, you're then disenchanting all of them. You're losing so much money by disenchanting all the greens and all the weapons that you would otherwise sell. As opposed to skinning, like, skinning is only going to bring me money, but enchanting is actually going to, like, take money away from me directly. And that's, like, not really what I want. I think that as an enchanter, you should be able to stack enchantments. Like, I don't think everybody should be able to, but I think if you level up enchanting yourself, you should be able to have a couple of slots that you can enchant two things onto. Like, maybe you can enchant chest, legs, and helmet with two different enchants. I think that would be a good perk for like leveling up enchanting. What am I still doing here? I'm looking for the dried meat still. Yeah, okay. It's not all of these though. Apparently this is not a quest item. It looks like a quest item, but it's not a quest item. Enchanting the rings. Yeah, that'd be a good idea too. Like being able to enchant their rings. That'd be cool. Yeah, I feel like to level up enchanting, you need like some other kind of motivation. Like another bonus would be required to put in the work for me to like want to level it up. Because like without getting any perks off of it, it does seem like a lot of effort and a lot of money that you just like, you lose. And then you probably have to spend some money. I could see you having to buy like low level greens on the auction house for cheap just to have like stuff to disenchant. And yeah, I see it being very like resource and time consuming. And then like don't get me started on the process of actually enchanting the gear. Because like having to click enchant, click the gear, click yes, click the enchant, click the gear, click yes. Like you have to do that. Which is worse than telling the thing to make like 17 bracers and then watching the bar fill. You know, you don't get to just watch the bar fill. You actually have to click yes every single time you want to do an enchantment. Even if you're just enchanting to level up your enchanting, you still have to click and click and click and click and click and click. And I really, really hate that. It's bad enough when you go to make a bunch of one item to like level up your crafting and you have to watch the bar slowly fill over and over again 50 times. That's bad enough as it is, but having to do all the clicks, like I'm not down for all the clicking. Yeah, my posture's been really bad with my new microphone placement. I tend to hate the new microphone placement, but I'm leaving it there for now because it makes it easier for me to drink my coffee. I like where I used to have it originally back in the day. Back in the day. And now like I tend to lean towards my microphone where it's at now, which causes multiple problems with my posture and with the sound quality of the stream itself. And so I kind of hate it. I just don't have a solution for it right now. So yeah, like now, like my back is fine, but like my neck starts to hurt because I pitch myself forward, like towards the microphone, like unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever it is. Not unconsciously, that'd be hard to do. But yeah, I subconsciously like thrust my chin towards the microphone, which causes like pain in my neck that I didn't have before when the mic was down here right in front of my mouth. Blood Moon, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out. Ooh, look at that. Some special ammo that deals like 1 DPS more than our current ammo. Maintain your reputation with the Galkus and bring a Draenithus shard to Uthek. The Draenithus shard comes from the Badlands, right? Or does it come from the Blasted Lands? Where does this come from? Yeah, it doesn't come from this place. I'm pretty sure either like the Badlands or the Blasted Lands has that one. Or is it Swamp of Sorrows?
Yo. Keep it real. I got the best deals anywhere.
It's in Maradon? Really? Huh. It is Swamp of Sorrows. Okay, yeah, I think you can also get Draenith's shards in either the Blasted Lands or the Badlands. I remember doing a quest for like one of the Draenei that are broken. And I believe it was in Blasted Lands. And we would turn the shards into him and he would give us something. It was a repeatable quest, I thought. Yeah, but maybe this one is Swamp of Sorrows. Alright, next I think we're gonna head up here to the northeast. And we'll do this quest, which I've never done before. So this should be exciting. I don't know what to expect, which is a good way to get killed. But it's a lower level, so I'm assuming they're going to be a lower level enemies. They're demons, right? Is that what we're looking for? Or are they harpies? Harpies or demons? Yeah, and Alex, I would still say that, like, whatever people want to do, like, do what you're most comfortable with, but also, like, try to keep in mind that, you know, it might be a different thing. Like, you might think, oh man, I never thought I would go on a PvP server. I don't know if this is going to be cool. Like, listen, it's seasonal. You could try it, and then, like, if it doesn't work out, you can always go on a PvE server. You're going to be capped at level 25 for a while. Like, you're gonna have, and on the journey to 25, like, you're not gonna have a lot of places where you encounter any problems. I'm just saying, if you're like me and you've never played on a PvP server, and you don't really understand, like, why people would want to do it, and you haven't had the experience, a season is a good time to have that experience. Especially a season with a level cap. Especially a season where they say, well, you're only gonna get to 25 anyway, and then you're gonna stop. It's the perfect time to try it. But, you know, if you absolutely hate the idea, then don't. Don't. Yeah, I've never played on a PvP server in my entire life. And I've played the game for 20 years, like, ever since it's been out. I've never played on a PvP server. And so I'm going to try it this time in the season because it's not a forever character. It doesn't have to live forever. I don't have to worry about being stuck on a PvP server years from now, trying to roll alts up years from now and just not being able to because I'm getting ganked all the time. Like, all the big problems that come with a PvP server, in a season, I feel like you can avoid most of them. Because, like, how many alts are you going to roll in the season? Like, be honest. Like, it's classic WoW still. It takes a long time to level up the whole way. So, like, how many alts are you going to level in the season, even with like, XP bonuses at lower tiers? Like, what are you going to do? So, like, you're going to have plenty of time to level up a couple of characters. If you're the type of person that plays a lot of alts, it means you have a lot of time to play the game. And if you have a lot of time to play the game, then you're going to be able to get to the level caps. And you're probably not going to have a lot of problems with getting ganked as a low level by higher levels. You might get attacked by players at your level. But I don't think people are going to have as many problems as they might think. Imagine if hardcore was PvP only. Yeah, for hardcore it would be awful, yeah. Like, for hardcore it would be awful. But I think for like seasonal content that's not hardcore, it's like, it's the perfect time to try it out. And I'm gonna be doing PvP anyway. Like at level 25 in Ashenvale, I want to do the world event as much as I can. I want to make sure that I want to get all the currency. They said there's gonna be currency. They said there's gonna be PvP gear available. I want to get all that stuff. So I'm gonna be leveling up my PvP anyway. I'm gonna be learning how to PvP. So it just seems like the perfect time to do it. I get that not everybody feels that way. We do have with the poll we have about a 60-40 split. 62 PvE, 38 PvP, which is about what I thought we would have. They need to put a level ban on being able to attack other players. Somebody told me that if they attack lower level players, it gives them dishonor, like it takes away their honor. So there is a consequence, like in the system, for attacking lower level players. Obviously, like if they want to do that, if that's what they want to do, they're not going to stop doing it. But the system does not incentivize people to hunt out lower level players and kill them. Alex, I totally get it, man. You have to do what's going to be best for you. Like, whatever that is. You absolutely just have to do what's going to be best for you. Like, if you have those worries, then, like, make the decision that's going to make it so you don't have those worries. Like, I can't be responsible for those worries, but you can take an action to, like, alleviate them. And you should. Like, if you honestly think it's going to be hard to find people and hard to recruit people and hard to get people into the guild, you know, I don't think that's going to be the case at all. But you have to act on that, man. Do what's best for you. Like, me personally, like, me, where I'm at, like, I don't need a big guild. I need 10 or 15 people to raid with and to do PvP with. Like, I don't need to have a big guild. I don't want to have a guild with 300 people in it. I don't want to have a guild with 100 people in it that I don't know. I'd like to have a close-knit group of people that I can raid with. I've never been interested in having a big guild. That's not my thing. It's not what I'm into. I don't know how to run a guild. I don't care about running a guild. I want a close-knit group of people. I need 10 people to raid with. And I'd like to have some more people than that who want to PvP, maybe do alt raids, maybe have a second raid group. But ultimately, like, for me, I want to find 10 solid people to raid with who I enjoy playing the game with on a regular basis. And I will find those people. Because to me, it's not about having an enormous streamer community guild. Like, you know, it's like, that's fine. If those people want to come play on the PvP server and we want to have a guild and it gets big, I'm okay with that. But like, I'm not trying to build a massive guild. It's never been my goal in any version of the game to build a massive guild. I want a guild of people who want to be there, and I preferably want a guild of people who want to try doing the endgame content. Who are like steady, level-headed people. You know, no drama, no bullshit. Just have fun seeing the encounters and learning the fights. Like the most fun I ever had in WoW was in like my old guild, and there were like 15 of us who were core members who knew each other for a long time. And then when we were doing 25-man raids, we would recruit some people who we didn't know as well. But the best time I ever had in a guild, it was a small guild. There were about 15 of us who were core members, and that was it. And so when I think about a guild, I think about like those 15 or 20 people who are like just core members. You're all like-minded. You want to do the same types of content. You have fun playing together. You get along. Everyone understands that there's no drama. That like we're here to help the team. You know, following like doing the loot rules where everybody gets loot. Everybody keeps on an even keel. Like that's what I'm looking for. I would much rather have a guild of 30 people, and when I look at when they've logged in last, I see that everyone is active, than to have a guild of 200 people, and every time I look at when people have logged in last, there are people who haven't logged in for months. So, yeah. One second. I need to type something up in the Discord really quick for Season of Discovery. So I'm going to type this up really fast. Just 1 minute. I know it's the best place for me to stop and type something up, but I'm still going to do it here anyway because it needs to be, I need to get it done right now. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that says about what I want to say. Okay, yep, that's good. There we go. I pinned a comment to the SoD channel in the Discord so that people who are, you know, they're in the Discord, they're looking forward to SoD, but they're not in the stream today, they can read some of my thoughts about my choice, and they know what I'm doing. And then that way tomorrow, like the people who really just want to be on a PvE server, they know what I'm doing ahead of time, and they don't have to worry about it. They can make their choice, make the choice that's best for your gameplay experience, and don't ever look to what someone else is doing, whether it's me or another streamer or somebody you know from the internet. Like, never look to somebody else to dictate what you're gonna have fun with. Never do that. And one of the biggest reasons is, like, firstly, that's not you, that's somebody else. Secondly, people change. You know, people change, people come to different conclusions, they make different choices than what you might expect because you're not inside their head. So, like, I definitely always encourage everybody to only ever do what they are going to have the most fun doing. Never look to anybody else to even slightly guide what you're going to do. Do what you're going to do, and then whoever that choice aligns with, those are the people that you get to play with. Like, that's the best way to go about it. Chad, no, the regular PvP US East PvP server. There's going to be one of them. We don't know the name of it yet. US East PvP. David, we haven't had a controversial topic in a while. I think that, like, the entire stream today now has been a controversial topic. Yeah, I think our controversial topic is, like, me going on a PvP server is now the controversial topic. I think we've got it covered for today. Yeah, I think, and it's like the big difference. I think is, like, yeah, if it were a normal version of the game, I would never do it. I'm really interested in doing it because it's seasonal, because it's supposed to be different. It's a season, it doesn't last forever. It's gonna be fun for me. And I'm just going to enjoy it. Alex, you're talking to me about Discord as if I knew how to, like, do that, as if I would even think to. Yeah, as we all know at this point, like, I'm not a proficient Discord user. And so, yeah, that would be an awesome thing for someone to do. Like, if they weren't me, and if they knew that was a thing they should do. I don't know, I pinned it to the forum that it's in. I don't even know what that... I'm assuming that makes it so people can see that when they join. I don't really know what it does. It's there. You know, the people who are active in the Discord will see it. The people who are not active in the Discord, they don't give a shit. So... That's it is what it is. I'll try to keep that in mind for next time. At everyone, got it. But yeah, the people who are active in the Discord will definitely see it, and no one else cares. So. And everyone else who's not on the Discord and they're not here today, I guess they'll find out what I'm doing tomorrow, which is fine. Hey, Kekard, you got kicked out of my Discord? What did you do? You must have done something. I didn't kick you out of the Discord. I don't even know how to add everyone. I definitely don't know how to kick you. To join the Discord, you have to be in one of the guilds. So either the Hardcore Guild on Defias Pillagers, or the Wrath of the Lich King Guild on Mankrik. Once you're in one of the guilds, the Discord information is in the guild information. But yeah, that's the only way that I limit access to Discord, is that you have to have a character in one of the versions that we play, and you have to be in one of the guilds, and that's how you get to the Discord info. And we are all done with this quest. Let's get out of here. It was nice to be able to come over here and actually have this quest, because this is it's a different looking area than a lot of the Desolace. It has a little bit more foliage. It's nice to see. It actually ended on a 60-40. Here, I'll end it right where I knew it was going to be. The poll ended at the perfect World of Warcraft 60-40. 59-40, which is impossible, but 60-40. Look at that. There we go. It ended up right where it had to end up. And Johnny, welcome back, man. And yeah, so the plan for tomorrow is PvP US East. I know you're West, but I have to be on an East Coast server, so we're doing PvP, the US East PvP server for tomorrow. That's what the plan is. There's been some contention to the plan. There's been some dissent, but it's all fine.
Be good. Up with you.
It's all fine because that is what I want to do. And we're not going to be late starting. Nope. I found out / realized / remembered my kid has early release on Thursdays. So he's getting off school an hour earlier than I thought he was. So I'm going to be on at about 3:45. I'll be on around 3:45, and we'll just we'll hang out at the login, and we will wait for the servers to come up, and we will see their cute little names, and then we will get right into things right at 4 o'clock as soon as the servers come up. So that is the plan for tomorrow, guys. Yeah, I'll be here. I'll try to start the stream at 3:45. We can hang out for 15 minutes. We can wait for the servers to come up and then immediately explode. Hoping to get my name before anybody else snags my name. That's kind of one of my goals for tomorrow. Create my character with my name. And I'll actually be on time. And yeah, the plan is PvP US East. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And yeah, I get that some people might not be excited about that. A lot of people might be disappointed. I would say, like, give it some thought. Try to think about it as I'm thinking about it, as an opportunity to have a different experience with the game, an opportunity to play WoW in a way that you would not normally play it, knowing that it's a season. It's not going to go on for more than a year. Eventually the characters are going to be dead characters anyway. It's not going to matter 2 years from now whether or not you rolled up on a PvP server or not. So just give it some thought. I would love to see you guys there tomorrow. I am going to stop here for today. I have a hard stop 4 minutes ago. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out today and listening to me work through my thought process and coming to the conclusions that we did. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. And until tomorrow, take care of yourselves out there and take care of each other. And we'll see you back here then. Bye for now.